Today we delve into one of the most misunderstood, misinterpreted, and often feared books in human history, the Apocalypse. Surely the word apocalypse evokes images of catastrophes, end of the world, riders, destruction. And yes, it has elements of that, but most people only scratch the surface, missing its true, deep, and, I would say, hopeful meaning. What if I told you that the apocalypse is not primarily about the end of the world, but about the beginning of something new? That it is a message of hope and revelation more than fatality? Get ready, because today we will unveil the myths, unravel the symbols, and discover the true meaning of the apocalypse. It will be a revealing journey that will change your perspective forever. Are you ready for the truth? Well then, let's go. Debunking the myth. Apocalypse does not mean the end of the world. To begin understanding the apocalypse, the first thing we must do is break the biggest myths surrounding it. When we hear the word apocalypse, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Surely explosions, chaos, the planet destroying itself, and perhaps even hordes of zombies. Hollywood and popular culture have done an excellent job of cementing that idea. But the truth is that the original meaning of the Greek word apocalypse is radically different. It does not mean the end of the world or total destruction. No, its meaning is revelation or unveiling. Think about it for a moment. Unveiling, that is, showing something that was hidden, bringing to light a deep truth. This is the first crucial point. The book of Revelation, which concludes the Christian Bible, is, by its very definition, a book of revelation. It was written to reveal divine truths to its original readers in a very specific context, and not primarily as a chronological map of the end times for us today. Imagine you have a beautiful painting covered by a cloth. The apocalypse is that cloth being pulled back so you can see the masterpiece underneath. It is not a threat. It is an invitation to see with different eyes. So why was it written? What truths was it trying to reveal? That is what we will explore next. The context matters. For whom was the apocalypse written? To understand any ancient book, especially one as symbolic as the apocalypse, the historical context is essential. Without it, it's like trying to read a book in a language you don't know. The apocalypse was written by John, an exile on the island of Patmos, probably at the end of the 1st century BC. And who was it addressed to? To the 7 churches of Asia Minor, what is now modern-day Turkey. These Christian communities were living under terrible persecution from the Roman Empire. Worship of the emperor had become mandatory, and refusing to worship him could mean death, torture, or exile. Think about their situation. They were minorities, often marginalized, facing a brutal power that demanded their absolute loyalty, or otherwise punished them mercilessly. The temptation to give in, to worship the emperor to save their lives or businesses, was immense. Many were discouraged, afraid, wondering if God had abandoned them. So Revelation was not a prediction for the year 2000, nor for 2025, nor for today, first and foremost. It was an urgent and coded message of hope and encouragement for those suffering communities. It was a way of telling them, we know what you are going through. Resist, God is with you, and the empire, no matter how powerful it seems, is not eternal. Its power is temporary. John could not write it openly because he would have been censored and more people would have been put in danger. That is why he used symbolic language that was common in the apocalyptic literature of the time, a language that his contemporaries understood, but that was incomprehensible to his Roman persecutors. Here lies the key to most of his enigmas. The language of revelation, symbols, not literalities. If we have already understood that revelation is a revelation and that it was directed at persecuted communities, the next step is to understand its language. And this is where most modern interpretations fail catastrophically. Revelation is full of symbols. I repeat, symbols. It is not a literal instruction manual for the end of the world. Think about this. Would you say that the Lion of Judah is a real lion, or that the Lamb of God has 4 legs and goes to wash? Of course not. They are symbols. The lion represents strength and royalty. The lamb, sacrifice and innocence. Well, this is how the vast majority of the book of Revelation works. Numbers like 666, the beasts rising from the sea or the earth, the prostitutes dressed in purple and scarlet, the horns, the eyes, the colors. All have a deep symbolic meaning that was recognized by readers of the 1st century BC. They were part of Jewish and Christian apocalyptic literature that already existed. For example, the number 666 is commonly interpreted as the number of Emperor Nero, using gematria, a Hebrew practice of assigning numerical values to letters. For readers of that time, this was a clear code. The great prostitute sitting on many waters and dressed in purple and scarlet. Whom do you think she represented? Exactly. Powerful and corrupt Rome, with its luxury and brutality. Understanding that Revelation speaks in symbolic code is liberating. It allows us to set aside the absurd, literal interpretations that have generated so much fear and confusion and opens the door to its true message. Don't look for UFOs, implanted chips, or nuclear wars in every verse. Seek the message of hope, resistance, and God's ultimate victory. The main message: hope, resistance, and justice. Once we strip Revelation of its sensationalist and literal veneer, its true message emerges with impressive clarity. And that message is hope, resistance, and the imminent divine justice. For those Christian communities under Roman rule, Revelation was telling them, God is in control. Despite the apparent chaos, suffering, and oppressive power of Rome, John's vision assured them that God had not abandoned his people. The heavenly throne remained occupied, and the Lamb of God, Christ, held all authority. It was a cry of faith amid adversity. Resist temptation. The book repeatedly urges perseverance. It warns against idolatry, apostasy, and the comfort of yielding to the pressure of the empire. It encourages them to stand firm in their faith, even if it means death. The mark of the beast was not a microchip, but a symbolic renunciation of God to worship the emperor and participate in Roman economic life. Justice will come. The most frightening part of Revelation for the modern reader, with its plagues, cups, and catastrophes, was actually a promise of justice for those who suffer. It meant that the oppression and evil of the empire would not go unpunished. God would judge the oppressors and vindicate his faithful. For them, it was not an indiscriminate punishment, but the manifestation of divine justice in action against evil. God's and his people's ultimate victory. Beyond all suffering, Revelation culminates in a glorious vision of a new heaven and a new earth, a new Jerusalem where God dwells with his people, where there are no more tears, pain, or death. This is the hopeful climax of the book, the promise of complete restoration and the absolute victory of good over evil. Revelation, then, is a book for times of crisis, for those who suffer persecution, for those who feel helpless. It is a book that says, keep hope alive, be faithful, God is on the throne, and evil will not prevail forever. Archetypes and relevance. Today, Revelation beyond time. Well, if the apocalypse was written for those first-century communities, does that mean it has no relevance for us today? Absolutely not. This is where its meaning becomes even deeper and more universal. Although its symbols were rooted in the Roman context, the themes it addresses are eternal and archetypal. It speaks of the struggle between good and evil, oppression and freedom, faith and apostasy, hope and despair. These are universal human conflicts that repeat over and over throughout history. We can see the dragon, or the beast of the apocalypse, not only as the Roman Empire of that time, but as any system of oppression, any totalitarian ideology, or any force seeking to dehumanize and enslave humanity. The great prostitute can be the corruption of power, the seduction of materialism, or the idolatry of anything that is not God. The Apocalypse invites us to reflect on: where does evil manifest in our world today? What beasts do we face? Is it social injustice, environmental destruction, fanaticism, technological dehumanization? How do we respond to adversity? Do we succumb to despair and inaction, or do we maintain faith and resistance? What does it mean to be faithful in a world that often pressures us to conform? Are we willing to go against the grain for our principles? The Apocalypse provides us with a framework to interpret our own reality. It tells us that, although evil may seem powerful and temporarily prevail, it is not the final word. History is heading toward a climax, a divine intervention that will establish justice and good definitively. It is a reminder that even in the darkest moments, light and hope are real, and the final victory is assured. It empowers us to be agents of that victory in our own time. The Apocalypse as a call to action and personal transformation. Beyond being a revelation and a message of hope, the Apocalypse is also a powerful call to action, both on a collective level and, perhaps more importantly, on a personal level. It is not a book to sit and wait for the end of the world, but to live actively in the present. The Book of Revelation, in its messages to the 7 churches, not only encourages them, but also calls them to repentance and purification. It points out their faults, commitments, and lukewarmness. This tells us that the Apocalypse is not just about what God will do, but about what we must do. It invites us to deep introspection. Where have we succumbed to the temptations of the beast in our own lives? Are we prioritizing money, power, fame, or comfort over our spiritual values and our humanity? Are we being lukewarm in our faith or in our morality? Do we settle for spiritual mediocrity or seek excellence and passion on our journey? Are we resisting the great harlot of corruption, injustice, deception, and idolatry in its many modern forms? Revelation urges us toward personal transformation. It tells us that true victory begins within us. Every act of kindness, justice, love, and resistance against injustice is an act of apocalyptic faith. We are participating in the building of the new heaven and the new earth here and now through our daily choices. It is not about passively waiting for the world to end, but about living in such a way that we reflect divine victory in our lives, being salt and light in a world often shrouded in darkness. This is the true and powerful call of Revelation to a life of fidelity, courage, and active hope. The final vision, the New Jerusalem and restoration. We have journeyed through Revelation, unraveling its layers of meaning, but no exploration would be complete without reaching its culmination, the part that truly gives us the key to its message. The vision of the New Jerusalem and the final restoration. After all the visions of judgment and the defeat of the forces of evil, the book of Revelation transports us to a scene of immense beauty and peace. John describes a new heaven and a new earth, where the old creation, marked by sin and suffering, is renewed and perfected. And at the center of this new creation descends the New Jerusalem, not as a city built by human hands, but as the city of God, the place where God dwells with his people. This vision is crucial because it shows us the ultimate purpose of all history. It is not destruction for destruction's sake, but purification for restoration. It is as if God, after allowing evil to manifest and humanity to choose, intervened to cleanse the house and establish his kingdom definitively. In the New Jerusalem, John tells us that there will be no more tears, death, pain, or crying out. God's presence is so complete and perfect that all darkness and suffering are eliminated. The river of the water of life flows from God's throne and the Lamb, and the trees of life bear fruit every month, with leaves that serve for the healing of the nations. It is an image of fullness, abundance, healing, and perfect communion with the divine. This is the true apocalyptic outcome, not a hopeless end, but the fulfillment of hope. It is the guarantee that evil is temporary, that divine justice is infallible, and that God's love will prevail forever. It is the promise of a future where creation is redeemed and the relationship between God and humanity is restored to its ideal state. For the original readers, this vision gave them the strength to endure persecution, knowing that their suffering was temporary and that eternal glory awaited them. And for us today, it provides a vision of purpose and encourages us to live as citizens of that New Jerusalem right now, manifesting its values of justice, love, and peace in our world while we await its full manifestation. Final reflections: the strength of our choice. So, after exploring these different facets of such a complex enigma, what can we take away from all this? The question of why Revelation contains such dramatic images does not have a single easy answer, but rather a plurality of perspectives that, together, offer us a richer and more nuanced view. We have seen that the apocalypse is not a crystal ball to predict the exact future of events, nor a horror movie, but a book of Revelation that uses symbolic language to convey a deep message of hope and challenge. Perhaps the key is not that God allows evil out of whim, but that its existence, its role as a catalyst for our evolution, is intrinsically linked to the freedom we have been granted. That freedom, that free will, is the greatest gift and the greatest responsibility we have. It is what truly makes us human, capable of loving, choosing, growing, and forging our own relationship with the divine. The apocalypse, in this sense, is not just an omen, but a catalyst for our evolution. It challenges us to exercise our freedom, to choose good, to love God and our neighbor of our own will, not by imposition. Strengthen our faith through testing, to discover the true strength of our character and our reliance on divine grace. Understand the cosmic order, to accept that there is a greater plan, where even opposition has a role in the manifestation of light. Confront our shadows, look inward, and purify our own imperfections. Trust in the ultimate victory. Maintain hope for a future where good will ultimately prevail. Every time we face adversity or temptation, it is not a sign that God has abandoned us. On the contrary, it is an invitation to choose, an opportunity to demonstrate what we are made of, to grow, and to come closer to the essence of the divine. It is in those moments of crossroads that our soul has the chance to shine brighter, to choose light, truth, and love. The initial question, which seemed to be a problem for faith, becomes a profound invitation to action and personal reflection. It reminds us that we are beings with a purpose, capable of rising above our weaknesses and negative influences, and that ultimately, the choice is always ours. Revelation, understood in its context and symbolism, ceases to be a frightening book and becomes a powerful source of hope and a manual for spiritual resilience. It teaches us that, no matter how dark the times may seem, there is a greater plan in motion, and that the light of justice and God's love will always have the final word. It encourages us to live with courage, to persevere in faith, and to be agents of change in our environment. We are not called to escape the world, but to transform it with the light we carry within. This is a reminder that even in chaos, there is divine order, and that our faith today builds the eternal tomorrow. I sincerely hope this talk has been helpful to you, sparked an idea, cleared up some doubts, or simply motivated you to keep pulling the thread on your own. Because in the end, the important thing is not to have all the answers, but to keep searching. If what we've shared here today has resonated with you, made you reflect, or feel something new, I ask for a little push. Join this family. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming adventures. Every week, I challenge myself to bring you a new mystery, a new reflection, and your company is essential to me. And of course, I would love to hear what you thought about all this. Maybe you have a different perspective you'd like to share. How do you face these big questions about existence and faith? Leave your comments below. Your ideas, your questions, and your experiences are the true engine of this space and help us all grow. Thank you for your time, your attention, and the courage to delve into these profound topics. Until next time, may the pursuit of truth always be with you. See you in the next video.